Good morning and happy Thursday. We're new streaming network WGSN-DB going solo network radio. Welcome to your Health Vibes with Elena. And I'm Elena with your Health Vibes. I'm your health wellness empowerment coach. And today, my journey is to raise your heart, body, and soul vibes to the next level so you can transform your life today. And today, our topic is mixed bag of tricks with the one, the only, my girl, my sister, Lisa. Ooh, come on down, queen. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so excited for us today. I know so much about you, but I would love for you to tell the guest a little bit about you.
All right. I actually live in Madison, Wisconsin, the capital of this state, this beautiful state. I grew up in a really small town, though. It's called the Driftless region in Wisconsin. So I grew up in a town of only like 1,300 people, which is pretty small when people are like, oh, like
That's almost how much
1,300? Like that was how many was in my high school class.
I was just going to say, let alone my high school class was pretty much that.
Yeah, like the town doesn't have any stoplights. There's little Amish poles at the banks and the grocery stores where they can kind of set up their little carriages and stuff. It's very interesting. I loved growing up in a small space, and it was beautiful. Rolling hills, and it's just a really pretty atmosphere. But I was adopted at a young age. So, well, since I was 3 months old in the 70s, which it makes it a little more difficult because it was closed adoptions back then, and a lot of closed adoptions didn't give you a lot of your information about yourself and whatnot. So none of us in my family were related. So my brother, he was adopted also. So none of us were, I think they call it like fictive kin, or like your family of choice. Like everyone in my home was my family, but everyone was of a different family coming together to make one family. So we all had our own vibe, and it was awesome. Yeah. So go ahead.
No. I just want you, to go ahead and tell us more.
Growing up, I was just very creative at a very young age. So very much into drawing and music and art. And I don't know, my mom would always say, oh, I saw you were learning how to tie your shoes, but you still had a marker in your hand. So I was always drawing. Like everybody would want to go outside and play. And like I did that too, but I was kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to sit at home and just going to kind of do my own little thing,
I love that.
I don't know. I was kind of quiet. But then I did have some health issues starting at a young age. I got seizures when I was 10 months old, which led to epilepsy. And that kind of just took over part of my life. And especially when I got into college, it got really bad because when you're younger, you can get this diagnosis and then they'll be like, oh, well, she can just take this medication until she's about 5 and then it'll just go away.
What?
Well, this was back in the 70s, okay? You got to think back in time a little bit.
70s.
So, yeah, it's a little bit different. So, yeah, they just kind of assumed that I would get better, but it actually got worse. So I started to realize everything that was happening because I didn't really understand much about what was going on until I was about 18 when it got really bad. And then, I went to school for graphic design in college, and that was absolutely amazing. Back in the late 90s, when everything was like, let's see, It was like we had Photoshop, but we had like Quark Express, and like we had these little like carrier devices that we'd have to take from computer lab. Like it was so different from what it is now. We never had laptops. Like
Yeah.
we didn't even know what a laptop was.
Isn't that crazy to say? Or like, learning, like I learned on a green screen and I play like Oregon Trail and, those
Oh
things.
yeah, Oregon Trail. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah. So, we had all the old school stuff, and it's just crazy to me like how much things are just like blowing up. It's insane how different it is right now. But then I moved to Madison after I was at UW Stout, which was I basically got a job at Land's End as a graphic designer in electronic publishing.
Ooh.
And I designed all of the catalogs for Land's End. So we designed and formatted all the pages. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I had a great team. Everybody was cool. And then I ended up getting into like the home team. So like kind of everybody did all the clothes, shoes, belts, whatever. But then when I got into the home team, I actually got to be with just the home products, and we all had our own little space. And it was a lot of fun to have like a little team of us ladies that all worked on the one catalog together. So that was fun. And then when I got kind of done with that job, I started to get so many, I noticed a lot of things were happening with how expensive healthcare was, especially with epilepsy. So I did end up having to get on disability, and it wasn't something that I ever wanted to have to do, or I didn't really choose that path, but that path unfortunately led me down that way. And it has helped me tremendously with billing, and like just the bills in general are just astronomical.
Definitely. Would you mind if we dug a little bit deeper with that, because we never think, different paths and showing up. And, you said you didn't ever think you'd be on disability, but could you maybe talk about a little bit for people who are going through this? And like, you have so many amazing stories, and I want to dig deep into each of them. And Lisa will be back because this is going to be a series, guys, because she has a mixed bag of tricks that we can't get a whole episode with.
There's a lot of tricks.
There's a lot of tricks. I do want to focus on three of them, but this is a big one, dealing with all this, and how did that make you feel? And, being able to be on your own and show up that way, to be told, this is what's going on. Maybe you can express or go a little bit deeper.
Well, it was difficult because I didn't ever really want to even talk about being disabled, because epilepsy for one is, they call it kind of like a hidden disease. So like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing my thing on the radio, whatever, and I'm doing my own thing. But inside, it's hiding within you, unfortunately. And it's been there for a long time. And there's a lot of things that I tried to help myself. But when it came down to it, unfortunately, medication was the only thing that worked, and it's so astronomically expensive. Pharmaceutical prices were just through the roof. So I had to do the testing. I had to take the medication, because basically I have tried so many different medications and so many different processes. Unfortunately, mine is I don't know. I think it's 1 out of 26 people have epilepsy. But I'm in the top like 10% or whatever of the people who cannot be cured of it. So it's tough, because I tried so many different regimens, so many different paths and things that it just got to be too much. And so I had to just decide to become on disability, because I couldn't afford it.
Right. I mean, how could anybody afford something like that? So with this feeling and doing, maybe you could share with others, like what other help, or what made you be like, you know what, I have to do this. Like, this is what's going to happen, and accepting that and not allowing it to define you, because, so many times we hear that diagnosis, oh my gosh, this is going to define me. What I love about you is your drive, how you keep going. I've never heard a poor me, your fight, your drive, like you want to do better for others as well. And that's what I just would love for you to share, is because you haven't given up, and your resilience is really beautiful.
Yeah, I definitely don't like to give up. That is definitely that's definitely me for sure. I also I was on the radio show back in 2022 or 3. I was asked to come on to talk specifically about epilepsy. So I was with the Epilepsy Foundation for a long time. And then I got distracted by another health issue, which we can talk about later. But I really like to explain to people everywhere that you really need to help people by learning seizure first aid. So there's so many things that people do not realize. I can share one brief story from a long time ago. I mean, when I was in college, I had an episode, and it wasn't cool. This was a large one, unfortunately, but you feel like, okay, this is kind of a weird thing to talk about, but
nothing's weird. Nothing's weird.
You're in a dorm room with how many people, on your little floor. So you had like, we had like, I don't know what, 30 girls or whatever in this one little.
Which I had on my, two,
Yeah. Well, after this episode, I probably had about 2 friends out of the 30 that everybody pretty much did not know what to do, and they freaked out because I had an episode, and the ER people thought that I was on drugs. They were like literally, I guess, yelling in my face, like, "What's your name? What's your name?" And like that, I was unconscious.
That's so not okay.
Yeah. So it got all mumbled up. It got all weird. And so I felt after that very, I don't know, judged, because I can't control this factor, unfortunately.
No, it's out of your control. And then then people don't know how to react. And
so people don't understand it. And then, so about 2 years later in college, after I had started to learn more about what to do, how to help people, how to treat it and whatnot, I actually was going to a class that I had for drawing class, and we were drawing a model. And this episode happened, and she actually had one in the class while we were drawing her.
Wow.
Yeah. And the teacher didn't even know what to do. And so I got to see it from the other side. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I literally couldn't believe how many people everybody was just freaking out. Teacher didn't know what to do. Call 911. I'm like, no, stop. Like, somebody go get her down, put her on her side, make sure she's safe. I actually went with her to the restroom afterwards to talk to her because I felt so bad for her. And it's so crazy to me to see how that occurs from the other side.
100%, because you don't see that other side. And also, I totally agree with you. Like, I've been a teacher and I've done stuff, and they never did. They talk about CPR. They talk about, but you need the full like disclosure of other things or whatnot as well. Or like, I was a teacher doing aerobics, and a senior and a lady passed out, and everybody freaked out. I knew what to do because it was a little bit more trained. But you're so right. We need to train people. We need to have others show up for them. Are there any pointers that maybe you could give one really awesome tip, or when someone happened to see it, what's the first thing that you can tell someone not to freak out or do, what they can do to help someone?
Oh, well, they always say there's the 3 S's. So stay, safe, and side. So stay with the person. And that's a hard one for some people. You have to stay with the person and maybe even like time it, like maybe just see like, hey, like, oh, okay, I'm watching my clock. Like this lasted like 30 seconds, maybe, or maybe a minute, just so like somebody knows when they come to tell them like, hey, this is what happened, but people freak out and they don't even want to be there. And sometimes they'll just like leave. And so, yeah, you should stay with the person and then just make sure that they're safe. Right. And then like set them on their side so you can choke easily. And they talked about that years ago and they would be like, oh, put something in their mouth. That is like what you are not supposed to do.
Because they could choke on it.
Yeah. It makes it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, make sure they didn't hit their head or something, but like put them on their side so that they can rest and come back out of it. You don't have to call 911 unless there's a severe head injury or something like that. Like a lot of people will be like, because that was the one thing that happened in the dorms is that they called 911. I ended up having to pay an astronomical price for an ambulance bill when I was 18. And I was like, I didn't even call this ambulance. Like,
yeah, you're like, why am I being charged for something that I didn't even?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, you really have to just watch the person and be kind to that person, because they can't control, unfortunately, what is happening to them.
So being a fighter and you have to fight for yourself and stand up, is there any other things that you could tell, like because of this made you a stronger person because you have to fight, like wanting to educate and also kind of bringing back to with the adoption with things of saying other health stuff? How has that affected, you had the epilepsy and then you had said you had gotten some other health stuff if you would like to discuss. Where did that all come into play now as being an adult trying to figure out stuff?
Oh boy. That's a big question. Well, I technically kind of moved to Madison because of our UW healthcare system. So I have lived here for probably it's been 25 years about. And in 2010, I ended up kind of giving in and doing brain surgery to try to get my seizures to be, well, I was hoping to come off of the medication, but it didn't happen. But I wanted to figure out something to get it to calm down. So I talked to a lot of different people to try to figure that out. And it was a huge, huge journey for sure, down a totally different path. But yeah, that it was such a big journey.
With that journey being so big, I know we can never prepare for this. So what did that kind of teach or do, or, maybe share a little bit of that journey and we can bring you back for more of that. But what was like biggest take from that, or what did you need in this time of this journey, what you were experiencing through all of this?
Well, all I wanted to do was help myself, right? Because it had lasted from the age of like 18 until 35 with severe scarring on my amygdala. So they had to remove the amygdala and hippocampus, which is a huge piece of your brain, right? Yeah. And it has to do with your speech, your memory, which is huge because I would have random little, they call them like petite mal seizures, and I didn't know what they were.
Gotcha.
I had no idea. Like, so when I was in college, I was a waitress even at one time. And I remember one of the gals that her and I were we're just folding silverware at the end of the night. You know, we're just wrapping silverware in a napkin. And she asked me a question and I turned around and I started to talk and it just came out like, blah, blah. Wow. And I was like, I'm like, what? Like, what just happened here? You know, so like, you don't realize these things. And honestly, like, you have to keep track of all this. Because one thing that I really learned about epilepsy is that I have a Excel sheet that goes all the way back to 2010 And every single time I would have a seizure or any sort of episode, or it can create migraines too, which is a big part of that as well. So I keep a document. You have to document your space, like, because I mean, you can't just go into the doctor's office the year later and be like, oh yeah, I had some. Like, what is that going to do? Like, you have to show them so that they can see your patterns, right?
Right. Because you don't, and with this, was it hard because of the history? You can't say like my family member, like, so maybe kind of brief a little bit of that, of where that's come into play too, of
Yep.
how
Yeah,
hard it is.
that was
that you found out that you've had,
yeah, that's a huge piece too, because I never had any medical history about myself. So learning in the past 5 years, I have gone through a lot with family that I met through figuring all this out through DNA 23andMe and Ancestry. I found family members while I was actually dealing with another health issue, and that was a huge piece of the puzzle too.
I don't know if you want to share that.
Yeah. So basically in 2019, then I found out I had breast cancer. So it was okay at first, because I'm like, all right, like, I'm gonna take this head on, like, I want to get this all done, but not knowing. They were like, okay, you have 1 week to decide. Do you want to take off one or both? Or do you want to just take out the tumor? Like,
Just all within a week.
All within like 1 week. I had to make this major decision for my life. And I'm like, wait, what? 1 week? Like, are you kidding me?
How did that like make you feel? Like, did you have the support? Were you alone in this? Like, not knowing other, DNA family members, where this came from, anybody else in your family, how did you get through? I mean, you are a rock star. I mean, with everything that you've done and how you show up, and is so incredible. But what was that make you feel? Like, did you have that support, and what did you want during this time?
Yeah, I had support from like family and whatnot, but how much do you talk about breast cancer with your dad and your brother?
Right.
I mean, like
with that, having an open conversation, I think, is so hard to have in general, and also like the mental aspect and showing up. So I can totally understand that. But with that, is that something that you feel that we need to get away of that stigma, is that we should be comfortable to talk to someone and have that support, male, female, they, he, she, whatever you want to be called, whatever you are.
Yep.
What can you say of how that affected you?
Yeah, I mean, when I found out, it was terrible. Like, I think I cried for 2 weeks.
I mean,
what do you do?
Right.
It's a huge, like, a phone call that says, hey, you tested positive for this and that. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I was at work actually when they called me.
Ah, Lisa.
Yeah, I was at work, and I told my boss, I'm like, I have to leave for the day. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Like, bye. No.
Yeah, it was terrible. But
how they delivered it. So I was like wondering too, getting this information and how it was delivered. I mean, I know you're at work and things. Do you feel there could be a better system? Do you like if there was like a buddy, or, I work with cancer patients as well. And one of the main things is that saying that they wish they had a better delivery of the information, like a buddy to go in with or something. Is there something that really stood out to you, or that you could say that you would want to fight for?
Oh, for sure. I definitely agree with that, because I did eventually take my dad and my brother with me, because I haven't had a mom for 21 years now. So I didn't have a female entity to come with me, but I had friends And my one friend, Jennifer, actually came with me. She helped me out a ton at the beginning. It was very helpful. And then, you know, I talked to a cousin actually that had it.
Oh, gosh.
So, once again, it was from my adopted family. So, you know, we weren't biologically related, but
Right.
we grew up together, you know, knew each other, you know, pretty well. I mean, but
Yeah.
they live up north and so they're a lot further away. But, you know, it was great to actually talk to somebody who had kind of recently had the issue. And even though, like I say this to everybody, even though like you have this one diagnosis, anything, my epilepsy, my breast cancer, anything that you have, your migraines, whatever, it's probably not going to be like this person over here that you're talking to.
Right. Whenever it's
No
like
matter what.
through, even though it is, they can relate and have that empathy, but you're so right. Everybody's story is different. Everybody has their own way of how it shows up for.
Yep. Everybody's different. And you all have your own path to go down and you can choose your own way to do it. But you have to, like, one of the biggest things I always said during cancer treatments was that I had to advocate for myself. Be your own advocate is a huge piece, huge piece. And the thing that got me the most was not only the fact that, you know, I called ladies, I called people even from the polka dots. I called, well, people who don't know what the polka dots are, but a women's group that Elena and I are in.
Yeah.
I called other people who had breast cancer and I wanted to know their stories.
I love that because everybody has a different story. And by telling the story, which I love that you're telling a story, and this is one of the main reasons I want you on here, is how strong you are, how you can tell your story, how just by telling your story, then someone else you can help. And just even if it's one person. And I love that you called others to have that support because that's what we need. We need to hear their stories.
For sure. But the fact that that I'm single, when you find out this information and you're single, you don't have somebody to come home to.
Right.
And talk about it with. And, you know, it's one thing that I had to call everybody on the phone, but it probably would have been a lot easier, honestly, if I would have had somebody to just come home to or to have them help me and whatnot. Because literally when I figured this out in 2019, then I was starting to do chemotherapy. I lost all my hair and I was even wearing wigs to work. Like, I had this cool pink wig that I would wear. It was so awesome. I should have brought it. But I loved it and I had fun with it and I just kind of rolled with it. But then COVID hit.
Oy.
So my last day of working was March 17th, 2020, because that was the St. Patty's Day. I always remember it.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. But then they were literally like, I'm sorry, you know, we just heard about this, you know, the COVID thing. So you're unfortunately not going to be able to work because you're immune compromised.
Oh, gosh.
And so
excellent subject. Keep it going. My dad is a prostate warrior and a survivor. So he's about 11, 12 years cancer free. So he sends his love to you. So thank you, Dad.
That's amazing. Yeah. So everybody has their own challenges, honestly, but dealing with that through COVID by myself was a huge, that was a huge struggle. Honestly, I got to say it was pretty big.
With that, how did that, I mean, if you want to expand just a tiny bit more, because we don't have on that, what it did to you and what you or, you know, learn from it, or, you know, if that didn't happen, you know, no what if, but what was the biggest struggle of that and where it left you and how did you move forward from that?
Biggest struggles, I would probably have to say we're definitely being alone. I had friends that we would do a Zoom call on Fridays.
Yeah.
So every Friday, and all of them would have a beer or a glass of wine or, you know, something fun to drink. And it'd be like, here's my water. because we all would have fun together and hang out and whatever. But, it's a little different when, when I couldn't drink on medications. But
and your sense of humor, as people say, how do you laugh about this? Like what, too, my dad did too. He said, yeah, it is serious, but if you don't laugh, embracing the muck, that was his thing. And I feel like that's how you do. You're embracing what's going on and showing up for yourself. And as shitty as it is, you're still doing it. And that's love.
I think the key to life is positivity, honestly.
Mhm.
Like really, when you think about it, if you're not positive, you're just going to go downhill. There's really no way around that. You just have to be positive about everything. And I even remember one time, which I thought was the coolest thing. I went into radiation therapy and, you couldn't even, it was difficult during COVID. The whole hospital, I got to see everything flip from a regular hospital to a hospital where nobody could stand next to each other. There were screens everywhere. You had to wear your masks, whatever. It was dark. There were seats, like you couldn't even sit down.
Wow.
Anywhere. So I had to visual, and then we would get just like put in a room and then you'd be like, okay, we're going to close the door and we'll see you in like 4 to 6 hours.
Wow.
So that was like a huge thing that just kind of like, I just had to do everything on my own. So I was learning everything. I was teaching myself things. But when I went to radiation one day, there was a gentleman that was sitting off to the side of he was probably going through prostate cancer. I don't know what he was doing, but he was there for his personal reasons. And he goes, oh, did you see? Because I asked him, I said, do you know what these bags are over here? Because I saw these bags like sitting on the edge by the waiting room area. And he goes, oh, just grab it. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, just take one. And I opened it up. He had left and gone to his appointment. And I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. So he pulled the little thing out and it had a positive quote of the day.
Oh.
So every radiation session that I did, I had to do 33 sessions.
Lisa.
And it caused a lot of issues, but I had to do 33 sessions. So every day I would pick a new quote of the day and I would choose that and I would read it to myself. And, you had to do that kind of thing.
Right.
You had to, like, I learned so many different things. I learned so many different things through COVID because I was like, well, what should I learn next? So I was like teaching myself all sorts of things. And I think that kind of just got me out of, I don't know, just, you could really go downhill fast if you're by yourself with cancer. Honestly, it's definitely not an easy task for I don't wish cancer on anyone ever. It is not fun. So
no, it's beautiful how you show up and doing this. So when you were so alone, now that there is stuff, is it hard to ask for help? Is it hard to reach out because you had to do it so much on your own?
Yeah.
Tell someone for asking for help. Like, do you ask for help nowadays?
So I've always had troubles asking for help.
I think we all do. It's everything we all do. So
I'm really bad though. Like, I don't know if you know anything about numerology.
I sure do.
I'm a number 1.
I'm a number 11. So
yep. I'm a number 1, which is also independent, a very independent person. We take on our own strategies and you want to move forward and you want to do your own thing, right?
Yes.
And a lot of number 1s aren't in relationships. And I also learned that, so not only am I a number 1, but I'm also, since my birth date is 4/10, 10 is a number 1. So I'm a double number 1.
Oh, I kind of
I can't remember what that's called.
I can't either because I'm like 10, 11. And with there's certain stuff like the double number of 11 is like 22 and blah, blah, blah. And all
yes. So I feel like that has always been a thing for me, is being very independent. It's very difficult for me to ask for help. But unfortunately, the other health issue that came upon me from the breast cancer was lymphedema.
Can
Um,
you say for 1 second what lymphedema
yep.
is for people who don't know?
So lymphedema is basically they removed the cancerous lymph nodes that were in my armpit by the chest cavity that had the tumor, and it leads to permanent damage and swelling and scarring for the rest of your life. And I think it's approximately maybe 30% of survivors end up getting this.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. With having lymphedema, do you have to wear special things? How do you take care, of that? Is that, a new life thing to learn to
it's a whole nother bag of tricks. It really is, because I wear this lovely compression sleeve every day.
Yes.
To help with my swelling, but then I also have to do weekly drainages and daily this little pump thing that goes up my arm. It's really sexy. Makes me look like a robot. I look like a Wonder Woman robot or something. I don't know.
You are a Wonder Woman, and you're amazing.
I've had to change like my whole daily regimen around to figure that out. You can't really do a whole lot about it. So
no, definitely. I just love all these things. So we are definitely going to have you back so you can dig deep. We're going to kind of close up. Lisa, I adore you. I think you're amazing, what you stand for and how you show up. And I'm so blessed that our paths cross, and she will definitely be back on here. If there's anything else that you want to leave us with, one positive quote, one of your favorite things, what can you leave us with? And also tell us, how are you available to work with? If someone wants to reach out to talk to you about any of this, how are you available, and how can someone get to be in your life? Because I am so lucky. How are the others?
I'm glad that we met, because we had an awesome time when we did meet. So I just would have to say, like, pretty much through everything that I've learned is the key to life is positivity, and don't judge a book by its cover.
Boom. Yes.
So
My favorite.
please, like, everyone has their own path, their own past trauma. Like, some it may be a lot more difficult than others, but we all have our own past. And, epilepsy has kind of made that a priority to me, is to be positive. And then cancer has really taught me to be your own advocate.
Yes. And then I think your friend Pop. Love you, Lisa.
Oh, yay. Hi, Sherry. That's
yeah, I told you we did some live guests.
yeah, so I'm actually I know we didn't talk much about me being a creative person, but I'm actually doing a healing through creative expression in-person event in March, and I'm really looking forward to it, because me and another woman that I'm collaborating with, we're basically going to show I'm going to show how creativity enhances, like, your health and your overall well-being, because that is honestly another thing that I did while I was dealing with cancer. And I focused a lot on being me and my art, and it really brings out a whole nother, like, pathway to your brain and your thinking, and it puts you on a whole different emotional, like, process. So
ooh, that's amazing.
yeah.
So we'll have you back on for that, because that is a whole nother topic, which I think is incredible, and being that intuitive and doing and how that can heal you. So, and then maybe you need to come out to California and do the in-person event, because I'm not by you, and I would come to that if I was.
Well, maybe next time we can do a Zoom, but yes.
Yes, definitely 100%. So how can anybody get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach out or get a hold of you?
Yeah, anyone can reach out to me if they have questions or whatnot. And you can totally go on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn and message me directly, and I will find out what's going on. So we can talk anytime. I'm definitely a person who likes to share on how to make things better. So
you totally do. And we're so blessed to have you, to hear your stories. we will definitely have you back. Everybody, thank you for being here today. I'm Elena with Your Health Vibes with Elena. You can reach me at ef11ca@gmail.com. My website is yourhealthvibes.com. Thank you for being here. You can join me on Thursdays bi-weekly, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, to begin raising your vibration, heart, body, mind, and soul. Dun, da, da, da. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. I love you all, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.